Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lodi Gardens located between the Khan Market and the Safdarjung Tomb. It's a beautiful city park with its undulating jogging and the walking tracks, the colorful shrubs and the green trees and flowers, and it provides a real respite from the hustle and bustle of the city of Delhi. It provides patches of sunlight during the winters, which are delightful, and it provides lots of shade during the summers. It's also dotted with a lot of monuments which are more than 500 years old, and we'll presently know all about them. Welcome once again to the beautiful Lodi Gardens. And we have in front of us a place called the Bada Gumbad, or the Big Dome at the Lodi Gardens. Now this Bada Gumbad was built during the time of the Lodi dynasty. Now you might recall that the Lodi dynasty ruled the Delhi Sultanate from 1451 till 1526 when the Mughals took over. And there were three Lodi kings of the Lodi dynasty: Bahlol Lodi, Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi. And this Bada Gumbad is attributed to the reign of Sikandar Lodi. It is 27 meters high and it's 19 by 19 meters wide and looks very impressive. It is not really a tomb because there are no graves out here, so it's kind of a gateway. And it has a mosque on one side, which looks very impressive. And on the other side, there is a building, an arched building called the Mehman Khana, or a guest house. So it looks like the kings used to come over here and relax and meditate and so on. But this whole Bada Gumbad really looks very impressive. So we are at Lodi Gardens in Delhi, and it has tombs and monuments which are more than 500 years old. So it might be quite as well to recall a little bit of a history of the Delhi Sultanate. After what transpired between Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan, there were 5 dynasties which ruled the Delhi Sultanate. The first dynasty was the Mamluk dynasty, which ran from 1206 to 1290. The second one was the Khalji dynasty, which went on from 1290 to 1320. The third was the Tughlaq dynasty, which ran from 1320 till 1414. And then there was the Sayyid dynasty, which was relatively short-lived, from 1414 till 1451. And the final dynasty was the Lodi dynasty, which went on from 1451 till 1526. It was during the time of the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasties where a lot of tombs and monuments which you see over here at Lodi Gardens have been built. There are certain architectures and tombs which were built during the Mughal dynasty as well, which followed the Lodi dynasty, starting from Babur. And whether you are a jogger or a walker, or want to do yoga, or just want to spend some time in solitude like this gentleman out here, perhaps reading a novel, or if you just want to just play around and have some fun and have a picnic, or if you are a courting couple, then this is the place to be, called the Lodi Gardens. So the Lodi Gardens were not always called or known as Lodi Gardens. In fact, it has tombs, as I said, and monuments which are more than 500 years old. And naturally, since they were so old, so this area, which was actually at that point of time called, a long time ago, the village of Khairpur, was completely neglected. And therefore, all these tombs around had a lot of wilderness grown on top of them. Now, in 1931, when the New Delhi, created by Edwin Lutyens, was coming to finalization, at that time, this area, or the village of Khairpur in South Delhi, was considered a blot on the whole design of the New Delhi. And therefore, the Britishers undertook a project where they decided to renovate this area and plant some exotic trees and local trees and beautify this area in general to bring out the glory of all the monuments which were present over here from the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasties. And in 1936, having renovated this place, the Britishers opened this place as a city park called the Lady Willingdon City Park. Lady Willingdon, of course, was the wife of the then Viceroy and Governor General of India, the Marquess of Willingdon. Then after the independence of India in 1947, this place was renamed as Lodi Gardens because of the monuments which are present over here from the Lodi dynasty, which ruled the Delhi Sultanate. And in 1968, once again this place was renovated and re-architected by an eminent American architect called J.A. Stein, who is also responsible for the architecture of a lot of buildings surrounding this entire Lodi Garden complex. So wonderful history and a lovely place, Lodi Gardens. And what we are watching now is called the Sheesh Gumbad, literally the glazed tomb or the glass tomb. Now this has been claimed to be the tomb of the first Lodi king of the Lodi dynasty, who was Bahlol Lodi. He died in 1489, and apparently his son Sikandar Lodi was the one who constructed this tomb. And it's called the Sheesh Gumbad because once upon a time it was made up of glazed tiles. Even now we see the remnants on the facade as these cobalt blue tiles, which must have looked splendid when this tomb was entirely covered with those at once upon a time. But even now it has an imposing presence from the Lodi dynasty and looks wonderful out here. A lot of people out here, who are getting their photographs clicked. It's surrounded by manicured gardens and the picturesque surroundings, and overall contributes to the real glory of the Lodi Gardens at Delhi. And in the picturesque Lodi Gardens, isn't it appropriate that we are now witnessing the tomb of Sikandar Lodi? Sikandar Lodi was the second in the line in the Lodi dynasty of the kings, and he ruled from 1489 till 1517 when he died. He was the second Lodi king after Bahlol Lodi, and he was followed by Ibrahim Lodi. So it must be Ibrahim Lodi who must have built this tomb for Sikandar Lodi in his remembrance. Looks beautiful and impressive with its dome, and must have looked fabulous in all its glory when it was covered with glazed tiles and all the beautiful colors. Now, of course, it's almost a ruin, but splendidly maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India with the beautiful gardens and the octagonal shape, in the middle of which stands this imposing tomb, the Sikandar Lodi's tomb. And perhaps it's the splendor of the Sikandar Lodi's tomb which has led these gardens to be called the Lodi Gardens. Sikandar Lodi, as I mentioned, was the second king of the Lodi dynasty, the first being the Bahlol Lodi. The second one was Sikandar Lodi, and the third one was Ibrahim Lodi. Sikandar Lodi, whose tomb we just saw, was an accomplished poet as well as a patron of music. It seems that he had a divan with 9,000 verses in it, which was composed by himself as a poet. Later on, of course, Ibrahim Lodi came in as part of the Lodi dynasty and was finally defeated in the Battle of Panipat, the first Battle of Panipat in 1526 by Babur. And that's when the Mughal dynasty started. Sikandar Lodi, of course, wouldn't have imagined that near his tomb would be located a duck park with all these cute little ducks. And at the Lodi Gardens, you find this charming little bridge. It's called the Art Pull Bridge, which was built during the time of Akbar the Great. And, at that point of time, this bridge was made to span over a tributary of the river Yamuna, which must have dried up during the course of times, and nowadays, of course, it is spanning over a man-made reservoir which looks beautiful and charming, surrounded by this greenery, and a lot of ducks are present swimming in this water out here. For example, look at these beautiful, cute little ducks who are just enjoying in November of 2024 in this man-made reservoir, which is used to recreate the erstwhile glory of the Art Pull Bridge, constructed during the time of Akbar the Great. There's also this mosque or masjid located in the Lodi Gardens, which looks very serene and peaceful. And this is from the Mughal era. So Lodi Gardens has monuments and tombs and architectural work from Sayyid and Lodi dynasties, as well as from the Mughal era. It's really a precious area, Lodi Gardens in Delhi. And there's a cute little butterfly park as well at Lodi Gardens, where apparently 50 different species of butterflies are reared. Well, that's nice, though I can't see the butterflies at the moment, but apparently there are some, and there are 50 of them. It nicely depicts the life cycle of the butterfly, which we read in our biology books, all the way from the eggs to the caterpillar to pupa, and then finally to the adult butterfly. So a lot of effort has gone in to maintain these Lodi Gardens, and it's surprising that with its beautiful undulating walkways and jogging tracks and nicely manicured gardens and these wonderful ruins from the past, it's still not very crowded. Looks like Delhi is ignoring its own Lodi Gardens. And in front of these lovely palm trees at the Lodi Gardens, we are now in front of the tomb of Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah was one of the kings of the Sayyid dynasty, which ruled for relatively a short period of time in Delhi when compared to the other dynasties, from 1414 till 1451. And Muhammad Shah was the last but one king of the Sayyid dynasty. He was followed by his son, Alauddin Alam Shah, who built this tomb in his remembrance. So wonderful tomb surrounded by the gardens and the palm trees are these Lodi Gardens, and looks very beautiful. Once again, perhaps the only tomb and the architectural work from the Sayyid dynasty. So this tomb is considered very precious and therefore is protected by the Archaeological Survey of India. There are several graves inside the tomb of Muhammad Shah, perhaps burying the remains of the various family members of the Sayyid dynasty. I was searching for the inscription which says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, which means there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his prophet. But I couldn't find the inscription over here. The graves themselves look in quite a dilapidated shape and looks like they have been ruined a little bit. Nevertheless, here lies Muhammad Shah from the Sayyid dynasty. So overall, a lovely trip to the Lodi Gardens in Delhi, spanning over 90 acres and houses in itself not only these lovely palm trees and the greeneries and colorful shrubs and flowers, but also these wonderful tombs, which is really the history of the Delhi Sultanate. Well done, Archaeological Survey of India, maintaining these gardens called the Lodi Gardens.